Hello, all. My name is Karina Salazar, and I am glad to have this opportunity to present the research I have been conducting over these past few weeks regarding a critical yet heavily overlooked public health crisis. Today, we are discussing the hidden epidemic of postpartum depression and the severe gaps of perinatal mental health services across Albania. Our objective today is to outline how we can transition our maternal healthcare framework from a purely physical model to a comprehensive approach that protects both a mother's body and her mind. On slide 2, you see the abstract. To frame our discussion, let's look at the baseline data. Postpartum depression, or PPD, affects roughly 13% of new mothers globally. But in developing and middle-income nations like Albania, those numbers spike dramatically due to systemic vulnerabilities. Right now, our public health care system focuses exclusively on infant physical health metrics like weight tracking and vaccination schedules while completely neglecting maternal psychological well being. This project analyzes these systemic deficits through the lens of Sustainable Development Goals 3 and 5. Over the next few minutes, I will demonstrate how we can deploy a multi-sectoral strategy to build a reliable reproductive healthcare safety net for Albanian families. Let's look at the current epidemiological reality in Albania. While comprehensive national data is scarce, regional clinical trials in adjacent Balkan environments show that when standardized screening tools are used, PPD prevalence rates such as high as 21%. Biologically, new mothers face severe perceptuous drops in estrogen and progesterone immediately following childbirth, which severely destabilizes clinical mood paths. However, the biological risk is deeply compounded by our unique sociocultural detriments. Albania still holds strong patriarchal household dynamics. New mothers are expected to shoulder immense family burdens in absolute silence. Mental illness is heavily stigmatized across Albanian society, often mislabeled as personal weakness or a failure of maternal instinct. Economically, public clinics do not offer psychological counseling and out of pocket costs for private therapy and are completely out of reach for low income or rural families. So if we turn to the health infrastructure baseline, the gaps are stark. Our primary care women's consulting centers do provide basic physical checkups, but they offer exactly zero psychological tracking. Furthermore, our current national mental health plan is heavily centralized around adult inpatient psychiatric hospitals, leaving a total absence of localized maternal programs. This system leaves vulnerable women completely isolated. This brings us to the public awareness infographic. This data is what inspired the public awareness campaign layout seen on this slide. As highlighted in my module infographic, a healthy mother is an absolute foundation to a healthy family. And the social media caption underneath is a direct call to action to end institutional silence surrounding maternal psychiatric care in Albania. We must use these visual data tools to shift the public perception and normalize maternal mental health checks as a fundamental right and not as a luxury. This brings us to the core of our presentation. What is an actionable path forward for the ministry? My primary recommendation is the immediate implementation of universal mandatory postpartum depression screening across Albania and using the Edinburgh postnatal depression scale, commonly known as the EPDS. This is a simple, cost-effective 10-question tool that can be completed by a mother in less than 5 minutes during her infant's routine 6-week immunization appointment. Implementation leader must be the Ministry of Health and Social Protection, as you directly control the national network of primary care polyclinics. To make this operational, we a We must look at chapter 4 and implement all the health policies and multi-sectoral models. And HIAP is a governance of structure that embeds health metrics directly into social and educational sectors. In Albania, healthcare and social welfare operate in strict silos. So primary care doctors rarely coordinate with social welfare offices. The HIAP model explicitly bridges this division, ensuring that when a medical doctor flags a highly EPDS score, a social worker is automatically triggered to provide community care, shielding the mother from family alienation. To understand how this looks in practice, let's elevate our stakeholder coordination matrix. We divide the accountability into three distinct pillars. First, our primary health clinics as a frontline defense. Their role is to physically administer the EPVS and track the electronic data, ensuring that early clinical identification. Second, our local municipalities provide the infrastructure for healing. They are responsible for funding regional social care and safe spaces and hosting local mother-to-mother supportive networks, which directly breaks down cultural isolation. Third, our civil society and NGOs will drive the cultural shift. They will manage targeted anti-stigma public media campaigns and educate extended family members, successfully normalizing psychiatric care within the household. By coordinating these three sectors under a unified goal, we ensure that no mother falls through the cracks due to the institutional thinking. Here is my presentation. And my references to the selected policies, this policy framework is not built on a theory alone. It is strictly grounded in evidence. The structural data points, regional clinical baseline numbers, and screening models presented today are sourced from peer-reviewed publications, including the World Health Organization's perinatal integration guidelines and the WHO AIMS health system reports for Albania and recent regional health policy data. This evidence proves that integrated maternal mental health systems drastically reduce long-term public healthcare expenditures. So before concluding, I do want to pose an analytical challenge to my peer reviewers, which is detailed on this slide. Given Albania's rigid socio-cultural dynamics, how can our frontline public clinics safely intervene and provide, mental health care when conservative family actively refuses treatment due to the social stigma? I look forward to reading your strategic insights on our discussion. Thank you for watching, and if you have any questions, feel free to contact me at csalazar2@leomail.tmacu.edu. Thank you.